Assalamu alaikum, Educationists of Pakistan, EOP, presented the first ever international online conference on education. So, what are you waiting for? Come, watch, and learn.
Next, we have with us a very prominent Anni Jumani. She is the CEE expert, lecturer, University of Karachi, curriculum developer, entrepreneur, and consultant also. And she is coming to us with a great topic: the power and joy of playful learning. And I'm sure that we would learn a lot of interesting things. So over to you, Anni Jumani.
Yes, over to Miss Anni Jumani.
Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum assalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, we all are fine. How are you, Miss Annie?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. I would like to share my screen with you.
Sure. Go ahead, please. Yes, now we can see the screen.
All right.
I can't hear you. Please say again.
Yes, we'll see your screen. We are seeing the power of joy. Yes.
Fine.
Okay, fine.
All right. So the topic of my presentation today is the power of joy and playful learning. So since we all are here educationists and we all understand that how important play is for our children. So is it moving forward? Right, so a new skill set is created for every children these days. So we shouldn't be stuck in old ways of learning as a teacher. And usually value most are the soft skills for our children, be it young children, young learners, or the students at school. But one thing that we forget usually is that it's about a research study done by Seattle Children's Institute that almost 50% of the kids aged 3 to 5 years lack parent-supervised outdoor play sessions per day. And since it's COVID period, I mean, we have just experienced that pandemic. So, I mean, nowadays it's also been shortened, like 3 to 5 years, children usually doesn't play outdoors. And age 10 to 16 years also spend less than 12 minutes a day for outdoors. Like usually they have started going to school, alhamdulillah, but even then not much activities are being provided at school. Students mostly play indoors. They are not allowed to play together because of the social distancing. And likewise, there are so many things which have taken away the opportunities of play from young children. And also one of the things is the gadgets children are being addicted to. So they are more engaged in today's digital entertainment mediums such as video games, phones, and tablets. So this is also one of the reasons that the development of play has been, it's really important these days than the other, previous years. And play is not where you build soft skills or 21st century skills. The skills gained through play is important because these days when we see children not providing with the abilities, with the opportunities of play, so it's equally important for us as supporters, as caregivers, that we provide them more and more opportunities of play, because it is as important today as it usually has always been. So during play there is naturally a greater focus. What skills do we gain when a child is playing? When a child is playing, they learn much more things. They learn much more abilities and skills which we are not able to inculcate during teaching, like through lessons and different activities. We try to inculcate empathy. We try to inculcate skills like taking care of each other, social emotional skills. But while they're playing, it is naturally a greater focus on social emotional skills, and in empathy is one of the best things. So over here we can see a few examples how this is also a reminder, because when we were now we are adults, and when we were children we used to have these experiences, and the empathy provided by the children, provided by the same age children, it has important and really strong impact. We also develop social skills such as negotiating, taking turns, and also the activities while playing, and they learn about the social awareness, they learn about the social skills, and talking to each other, they learn about communicating skills. When we see students, they are so much engaged and engrossed in the gadgets, they are very much addicted in the play activities. They are also play activities, I would say, and there is also some sort of sense of achievement, but it can never compensate, it can never take the place of the original play, the play with all the domains involved, the holistic development. And these are a few examples of the old
Kindly unmute Anni Jumani. We can't hear. Miss Anni, sorry.
Skills such as the children, they used to play together. The girls especially, they develop motor skills. The opportunities for play are not equal than the boys do have. So we see that different play opportunities are really important to develop their motor skills, especially for boys and girls equally. They tend to have so much of learning abilities, and they develop motor skills especially. And we can also see that play is culturally determined. So we can never negate the the importance and the cultural determination of play. These are a few of the examples which we usually have, and in the classroom example also, the cognitive skills, the abilities. So play enables children to take risks also. Nowadays, we see that children does not, take risk. They are mostly sitting passively, and while they're involved and uh, engrossed with the fast-paced, technology-driven world, children are struggling to develop the foundational skills of, and these foundational skills of play allow them to take risks, to take challenges, to take all the required skills for the life. They need to play to learn. These are few of the formal stages that Piaget, we all know, have shown us. So this is understood that play is power to survival. If we would say that play is power to survival, it is not. We all agree, and it allows us to be happy. It allows us to be creative, imaginative, and through play we learn the ability to strategize. We inculcate the ability to strategize in children through the play and games with rules such as cricket and football. We learn to take turns. We learn to how each child differentiatively negotiate during the play, during the game, taking turns and chances to each other, accepting the diversity, and it's not just to win the game, but how you play the game. And during play, if there is an ability to retain more. All right, so we all admit and have agreed that play is a power to survival. And while the child is playing, all the domains are, interrelated and involved. And it's really, really important for us how we provide play opportunities to our children. And when we talk about play, we sometimes keep the play isolated and away from our daily life, and especially when the children are going towards the higher grades, we tend to, as a parent or as a teacher, we tend to put so much effort on the academics instead of play. And while we talk about the play, we think about the play, we take it as a leisure. In fact, play is play is actually not anything away from play is not anything away from the studying or education. In fact, it is actually learning. It's a type of learning itself. All right, so the power and joy of playful learning can be brought to the school in terms of empowering children. So when we talk about power or empowerment, it is said to be a process. And empowering the children, or empowerment is the process of enhancing the capacity of individuals or groups to make choices and to transform those choices into desired actions and outcomes. So when we allow children in the classroom to play, or when we allow children to play in the classroom, it definitely gives them a sense of empowerment. And it's not just like a random sort of play, or without any plan, just let them to play. In fact, through our different type of activities, we can allow them to learn some new and complex matters, some complex concepts that can easily be achieved or attained through play. So how can we empower children while they play, or in the classroom when they are not even playing? So we can delegate them tasks, different sort of tasks, especially when we are allowing them the play activities during if we talk about the high school teaching. we can allow them to play and delegate tasks. Different tasks can be delegated, and involve them in making class routines, whether it be younger children or the senior secondary classroom children. We can involve them in making class routines and taking out time, because of course the studying and academic is also equally important. So we have to take some time out, some time away from the academic, and that will also allow them to have stretch breaks during the studies. So we have to involve them in making class routines, listening to their ideas. Different topics can be taught differently, and it's not necessary there is one way and one method of teaching, but we can playfully, joyfully mold and transform our lesson plans into play activities. So asking questions to make them think of the solutions, develop them critical thinking, inculcate communication skills, and not giving control to them, but giving confidence to them. That's really important. So what brings confidence when we talk about older or younger children? So giving confidence is like giving them self-control, focus and strengthening their self-control by helping children solve their own problems, giving opportunities to discuss possible solutions. It's like you are like facilitator there, not a teacher or a trainer or a director, in fact, for your classroom or for young children. And you actually would be facilitating them, helping them to solve their own problems. Like they are not, although many examples being given, like children are like plants, but they are not the plants who don't move on their own. They know, they live, and they can solve their own problems. You have to be there like a gardener, but not treat them like a non-moving plant. See? So if we give them opportunities to discuss their possible solutions with us, that will give them confidence. Help them develop thoughtful actions and ask questions, helping them to consider solutions. Because we see when in the field, in the ground, although because of pandemic we are not allowing them much, but if we provide them possible ample opportunities to have play, and that will also strengthen their immunity. So we can help them developing their perspective, helping children to feel understood. If we would not listen to them, how would they feel that they're understood? We can repeat back their words, whatever they're saying, to make them understood. Make them feel that they're understood, imitate their sounds, and help children find a way to express what they feel and think. Otherwise, if be it young child or an older one, like teenagers, if we would not give them a way to speak up, to talk to us, they would not understand. They would not be able to treat others that way. So it's sort of a role modeling as well. So if we allow them to express themselves, if we allow them, so they would definitely come out of their gadgets also. Helping children interpret their viewpoints, talk about what they like, what they want, incorporate the concept that peers and adults have similar feelings given the same situation. So sometimes over here in our culture, we adults tend to be the leader. Sometimes we behave this way, that only they have to listen to us and not to say anything. So that gives them the feeling of they're not being understood or not being given importance. So it's really, really important how they have been given ample opportunities of play and to be the leader of their own game, instead of being coach and guiding them what to do and what not to do. And same is in the classroom. If we just ask them to do this, not to do this, not to do this, so that will just leave them in the stress. And I mean, with the stress, children are not able to play well. So teaching children how to understand others helps them, help them understand others as well. All right, view fights and opportunity. In the field, when children play, and especially the older children, when they play football or cricket or other games with rules, so fights and conflicts are natural. And not even outdoors or in the ground, but also in the classroom. Fights and conflict, they actually enable them to understand and tackle the situation before they go to the practical world. If we would not let them play and perform in the fields, in the ground, and not to help them understand the situations and the possibilities and opportunities, how to solve these conflicts and problems, they would be like, they would not be able to learn and understand in the practical life in the field. Because straight from the school or the classroom, they would go to the professional institutions or the professional people they get hired, and they do not have the skills and the opportunities of resolving their own conflicts, to understand others, to be able to make others understand how they really feel, to be able to understand and to be able to handle the situation. So it's really important we beforehand allow them to acquire these skills when they are in the play field, when they are in the ground, when they are in the classroom, because these things are never taught in the book. So we have already seen through some examples of play that how the play impacts in the socio-emotional development of the child, how play impacts in suggesting resolutions and see how they work out. Because if they would not actually do it, they would not be able to find out the other ways, right? So communication is really important, and play is the only thing that they that provides them chances to actually communicate with each other out of the context, out of the box. Because if we just keep them engrossed and engaged in the academics, just to make them able to read, just make them able to calculate, count, and all academic things, they would not be able to communicate well. And it happens. Children who are toppers are not, they lack the skill of communicating with others. And when they are in different situations, when they are not able to handle situations where they have to meet different people, I mean, if the skill of communication lacks, they lag behind in so many things, in so many opportunities. So, for example, ask them to talk about what they will do after school or home or next day in school. So these kind of things allow them to talk about, to plan, to abstract thinking about what they would do, to plan out what they would do and how would they do, aligning their time and their thoughts, right? So if they plan a lot, if they do not have such time, so that is also a sort of skill which is important during and for communication. So shared theories, I mean, that is the metacognition thing, that they are speaking while they are thinking something else and after thinking about what they would do after school. So that was one of the examples, that how during a play, during a debate, or in the school, in the classroom, other than academic, what activities can be done or can be performed. So share stories of your life and their life, because that is sort of cultural correspondence. Share stories about your life, because if we would not share the stories, if we would not, how would they know about the past, how it used to be? Because they haven't seen them, they haven't been there. So that is one way of telling the scenarios, one way of telling the things that inculcate. Because I remember my grandfather used to tell a lot of stories about his life, and which uh, allowed me and made me imagine, or imaginary, creating a picture how it used to be. So this skill is not just best for the storytelling, the ability to tell stories, the ability to tell about the past, but also it sharpens their cognitive and imaginary skills. Read with them. That is one way of making them play. And if we read stories, like in my school, I allow my children to perform over stories, and that is a role play. And sometimes we read poems, and we sing poems, and they tend to perform about that and perform the same way. So these are a few of the ways that brings joy to them, that make them light, and actually it helps to retain some information. So using a book is important as a tool of conversation than just as a teaching tool. So ask encouraging questions beyond here and now, talking about the past and future. That's important. And making connection is one of the essential skills which is an element of play as well, that helps children make connections to everyday life. Like, take a various subjects and connect them in daily routine of life. For example, assign tasks to go to groceries, make lists, and ask children to calculate or estimate. Or you just you can use your problem sums or story sums for the math lesson plans the same way. And for the younger children, you can ask them to read or point to the item on the shelves, or you can set up a role play center in your classroom, shop station with calculators there. So it will also help them be familiar with the numbers and be able to calculate, be able to count, read, add, subtract. So these are play writing games. Name, place, animal king is one of the most important, because that will help them make connections. Use math talk in everyday conversation, and math talk is like, if this is it, how would adding more or taking away, these sort of math talk you can use in everyday conversation with your own children as well as with your students. So make abstract connections with it, which help them think what are the different make abstract connections which help them think critically. So critical thinking is one of an important ability to make them to learn and understand new concepts. It will help them to learn in the way that it enables us, and it enables children to describe and discover the things, the topics which we never thought about. Because sometimes when we read books, we read any news, we just read that and we accept that. So if we keep conversing with our children, if we keep asking and allow them to make questions and allow them to actually ask questions, that is really important for them to think critically and not just accepting each and everything. So
thank you so much, Anni.
Ravi,
Yes,
one
over
more.
to our host.
Right.
Yes. Yes, Ms. Nadia Shabazz, will you prepare for 3 minutes in Urdu for Urdu learners? The presentation.
Sorry.
Ms. Kamal, are you here?
Yes, I guess Kamal is there.
Yes.
कमल, इसको 1 मिनट में आप उर्दू में ट्रांसलेट करते हैं हमारे उर्दू लर्नर्स के लिए. Annie خود
Anni Jumani
بلکہ
chop.
Annie Jumani
It would be more better.
ہاں Annie just ہم 2 منٹس میں اس کو اردو لرنرز کے لیے. اوکے سو
اردو لرنرز
فار اردو لرنرز
کے لیے سب سے امپورٹنٹ بات یہی ہے کہ ہم اپنے بچوں کو زیادہ سے زیادہ پلے اپرچونیٹیز دیا کریں. صرف یوزلی یہ ہوتا ہے کہ پلے جو ہے یا کھیلنا جو ہے وہ ہم بچوں کو یہ سوچتے ہیں کہ بچہ تھک گیا ہے یا اگر اس کو کوئی اور کام نہیں ہے تو ٹھیک ہے آپ کھیل لو, جبکہ پلے کی یا کھیل کی امپورٹنس اتنی زیادہ اہم ہے کہ وہ خود ایک طریقہ کار ہے سیکھنے کا. تو کھیل کے ذریعے ہم بہت ساری چیزیں بچوں کو ڈفرینٹ ٹاسک ڈفرینٹ ایسی چیزیں ہم سکھا سکتے ہیں جو کہ ہم کتابوں کے ذریعے نہیں سکھا سکتے, جیسے کہ خیال رکھنا, احساس کرنا. ایک چیپٹر پڑھا کے ہم احساس کرنا یا خیال رکھنا نہیں سکھا سکتے جتنا ایکچولی اس کو وہ تربیت دے کر یا رول ماڈلنگ کے ذریعے یا اس کو خود وہ چیز خود کر کے بتا سکتے ہیں ڈیورنگ پلے, کھیلنے کے دوران, کہ آپ کو کس طرح سے اپنے بہن بھائیوں کا یا اپنے کلاس میٹس کا خیال رکھنا ہے. اسی طرح سے کھیل کے ذریعے بچہ جو ہے وہ بچے کی ذہنی, جسمانی اور معاشرتی جو ہے وہ نشو و نما ہوتی ہے, وہ کس طرح سے ڈفرینٹ ایبسٹریکٹ کانسیپٹ سیکھ لیتا ہے کھیل کے دوران. لیکن سب سے اہم اور سب سے ضروری یہ ہے کہ کس طرح سے ہم بچے کو گیجٹ میں سے, موبائل میں سے نکال کر اس کو وہ ساری اپرچونیٹیز مہیا کریں. اگر ہم انہیں وہ اپرچونیٹیز مہیا نہیں کر سکتے تو ڈیفینیٹلی کہیں نہ کہیں ہماری اپنی لیکنگ اور نیگلیجنس ہے کہ بچہ جو ہے وہ باہر مطلب سارے گراؤنڈ اور سب خالی رکھے ہوئے ہیں اور بچہ گیم کے اندر فکس ہو کے بیٹھ گیا. تو جو وہی پبجی وغیرہ وہ اگر گیم کے اندر گیجٹ کے اندر کھیل رہا ہے, اسکرین کے اندر کھیل رہا ہے, وائی کانٹ ہی پلے آؤٹ سائڈ ان دا گارڈن, وائی کانٹ ہی پلے آؤٹ سائڈ ان دا گراؤنڈ. وہ اس سے اس کی جسمانی نشو و نما بھی ہوگی, وہ بھاگے گا, دوڑے گا, کھیلے گا. تو یہ بہت
amazing and thank you so much Miss Anni Jumani, it's really amazing or it's really great idea. And Miss Aisha Wasti was Miss Aisha Wasti, yes, appreciating you, and he prizes your presentation, your session. Now over to our host for next speaker.
All right. Thank you so much, Anni Jumani.